everyone, welcome to Kim Porter TV. I'm Kim Porter, your business and life coach to help you create a business and life that you love. And today I have with me Jessi Bordi. Jessi Bordi is an illustrator and custom artist. And I wanted to have Jessi on because I think she has a great story. She has a fantastic just journey of how she got here, and I think it's super inspiring. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey?
First, I want to say I feel like a Kardashian, like I'm on the stories. This is fun. So we're starting off with my story from the beginning.
Yeah, like how did you, so you're self-taught, is that right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
self-taught. So how did you do that? Because you're a really good artist. How did you teach yourself?
So in 2017, I had, my son had just turned 2, and I was a stay-at-home mom. And I had been creating and just painting, kind of doing it for fun as a hobby. And I was like, you know what, let me just start an Instagram. It'll hold me accountable. And it's that way for me to create and be able to share my work with other people and kind of see, test the waters. But more for myself, just to keep myself accountable and sharing. And then I just committed every day to creating. I started off with kind of trying watercolors first, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing.
But watercolors are so pretty and fun, right?
Yeah, and everyone makes it look very simple, and I would try it, and I'd be like, this is garbage. Like, okay, let me try it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I, just started drawing with graphites, and it just immediately clicked for me. And I started buying books at like Michael's, just simple art books. And I became like obsessed with like drawing faces, because it was just...
Which is the hardest thing to draw, I feel like, right? I mean, I feel
like
that's
people,
so hard to draw.
Some people, yeah. And like flowers are still the thing that I struggle with the most.
Flowers? You would think flowers would be easier.
Yeah, I have a love-hate for flowers. Like, I love them. I think they're beautiful, but for some reason, it's just not natural for me to do flowers.
But I've seen your flowers. I love your flowers.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's awesome.
So people first, and I started with the graphite, just very detailed, just like chest and face.
Okay, yeah.
And then just kind of evolved from there. So if you go on my Instagram, it's still the same, 2017, like you can see the evolution of like how things have just changed for me and grown.
Yeah,
so,
no, that's great. And so you had mentioned too, YouTube played a part in that. Do you watch videos? And learn?
So pretty much you can learn anything nowadays. Like there's so much information, like everything is learnable. Everything.
Absolutely.
So, I didn't go to school for art. I started off, when I graduated, I went to the local arts college and went for graphic design in the beginning. And it was funny because I was sitting there and I was like, I'm such a free spirit. Like, I cannot sit in front of a computer all day long. Yeah. And now I draw on my iPad. So it's funny how it's like full circle.
Yeah.
So I did end up getting the graphic design, but it's it's like everything comes full circle. So it just.
But you couldn't see yourself sitting on a computer, but you do have a way of when you're doing it with your iPad, but you feel freer because you're not like connected just sitting to your computer all day, right?
Yeah, but it's because times have changed. The iPad is like
Well, your iPad's not a regular iPad either. Your iPad is like.
It's very
huge.
large.
It's very, very large. That's awesome. So self-taught. So if you're out there and you're like, I have something that I want to learn, I want to do, like YouTube and books and just little by little.
Everything. And then you can do the watercolor, you can do any kind of paint. So I tried, gouache, I tried watercolor, I tried acrylics, pencil sketching. I just tried to figure out like what felt right for me. And I just committed every day to like trying something, and eventually. I love that. Yeah.
So I'm hearing it's gonna be crap when you first start, which is like anything, right? Yes. I remember at makeup artistry, like I wasn't very good, and I was doing bridal makeup, and I had a bride come one day I was doing like free trials, I think, in my home, and she was like, I'm gonna help you out. Get this book, and she showed me this bridal makeup book, and it changed my whole style. It changed everything. So be open to learning new things.
Be okay with sucking.
Yes.
Like, if you are okay.
Tweetable, be okay with sucking. Yes.
Like, get comfortable with sucking for a while and just be like, there's going to be failures. There's going to be, crappy moments. But if I want this bad enough, if I want to learn, like, you will get better. You will get better. The more you commit, the more you do it.
It's so true. No, I love that. So you said, we had talked before, and you already said commitment, but what advice would you give to someone do you feel like you already touched on it? Confidence, we talked about confidence.
I think, so, commitment, because it is something, especially if you're teaching yourself, like, you have to put in the time in order to reap the rewards. Mm-hmm. So if you're not putting in the time and the work, like, nothing's gonna happen. And I feel like that goes across the board to, like, so many things. But yeah, putting in the time, be okay with sucking for a while. Like, it's not like you just,
you
start
born.
and you're like, oh, I'm just some Picasso, okay?
Picasso already.
And
what about comparison?
That's probably,
is that one of the hardest?
Because there's so much information, you can learn so much, but you also definitely, I think that's probably what stole my joy for the longest time.
Comparison.
Was looking at other people who were on their journey. There were 5-10 years, and then little old me, comparing to how many followers they had, like what jobs they were getting, this and that. So you really have to separate yourself and just come back to you, like, this is why I'm doing it, I love this, and just know that you're on your own journey and things will happen, and success will progress as long as you're, like, committing yourself.
I love the remember why you started. That's a big one for me, is because you can get sidetracked, and there's like the shiny object syndrome is so easy. So it's like, why did I start this?
Especially nowadays, it's just like, before, you would be in your own little space and you would, meet people on the street. Now you literally are like thousands of millions of people that you can see, and this and that, which is great, but you also can get in the comparison.
Especially with the numbers thing. I know that we have to focus, like, it's not about the numbers. It's not about, it's more impact than followers.
Yes.
Focus on the impact.
Yes. The impact, something that I've picked up recently is, like, how am I helping people? How am I affecting people? Instead of, like, the numbers, yes, you want to make money, but, like, there's more of a purpose, I think, when you're doing something, if you're realizing how you're helping others.
Yeah, it's a purpose driven.
Together.
I think one of the things I've heard women say a lot, especially creatives, is that, I feel bad making money at this, or I feel strange, like, asking for money, but the more money we make, the bigger the impact we can have on the entire world, not just on our little community in our lives. I feel like the more money that we make, the better we can do with our world. Do you feel that way?
So I think of money as energy.
Yeah.
So it's like a positive energy, and if you have, like, a negative energy towards it, you're pretty much putting blocks. So if you think of energy, it's like, you're not going to just make money and then keep it in a corner somewhere and hide it. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to use that for your kids' education and food and your house and live fun and, you know what I mean, and other things. So I definitely don't have money blocks. You can give me all the money.
Give me all the money.
I will use it in positive ways.
No, I love that, because we really it is a block, and we should be paid for our creativity and our artist work. Just because we're not doctors or lawyers, we're still creatives.
I struggle with, there's people that are doing the same thing I have, but they've been doing it longer, and they ask for a certain amount that I have not yet been comfortable to ask. Yeah. And it's not that my work is any less than theirs, but it's just, I think when you're starting out, you're like, ooh, not quite yet.
It's
like,
a confidence thing,
It's a confidence thing, for sure.
Let me put this number out there. The other day I had a session with someone who is an esthetician and makeup artist, and I said, just incrementally raise your rates. $10, $15, no one's really going to bat an eye. But if you do that enough times, then you start to get to where you want to go, instead of just being like $50 to $500.
I think there's a fear of, okay, no one's going to pay that much, so let me just start here, and then you're like, oh, okay.
You just don't want to get stuck there. Yeah. It's like the getting stuck there. Like, just because you started there, that doesn't mean you want to stay there. Okay. Yeah, I love that, because I feel like creatives we do battle with money a lot.
I think that's a huge artist, creative,
creatives,
But that's kind of old school thinking too.
Yeah, no, and that's what's going to lead us into, how has meditation and mindfulness played into your success? Because I think the mindset part of it is one of the biggest parts of building a successful business.
So I want to say, like, BK, before kids. I definitely, that's how I think of things, like BK, AK.
I love that.
So before kids, I had a big meditation practice, and it changed my life. And I think that I got to where I am now because I'd spent a lot of time, but now it's like, okay, let me have this 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that is enough right now for me to like set a mindset to like what my day is going to be like. I think we could probably do a whole other thing with stay-at-home moms working from home, because that's like
well, you're not a stay-at-home mom. You're a work-from-home mom. It's different. You're a working mother. You're a working mother who's at home because, well, I was a stay-at-home mom with a very small side hustle, right? So when the kids were little, my side hustle was my makeup artistry. I would go on the weekends. That was my fun money. But then when the thing like turns and it's no longer just a side hustle fun money and you're actually making money and you have expenses, like I have overhead in the studio, I'm a working mom, but I happen to have a lot of time at home as well. And so I think we don't really fit in a category a lot of ways. We have our own category. Like working moms have their thing and stay-at-home moms have their thing. And then us who are like actually working and trying to juggle all the things, I feel like it's a totally different ballgame. Yeah. Because it's hard to juggle all that. Like you don't really know like and who's responsible for the cooking and the cleaning and the kids, and I have to run my business too. Like the lines get really blurred.
Yeah, so very blurry.
Yeah, it is very blurry. So with the meditation, we haven't mentioned this yet, but Jessi is also my sister. Hi. So we're family. So I remember in 2015, my business was just like skyrocketing. I had all these opportunities. Things were going really well for my business. And I was so stressed and overwhelmed. And I feel like I was like on a train that didn't know how to stop. I couldn't shut it off. Like there was like this whole joke about how I never got off my phone. Like my phone was constantly glued to me. And Jessi would say, you need to meditate. And I would say, I don't have time to meditate. I don't have the time to meditate. And it was really because I never understood that quiet time is almost the whole like center of your universe. When you get quiet and you have that mental space, then everything else flows so much better. And I was just like hustle, go. And then I burnt myself out. So that's the flip side of not giving yourself that meditation and time.
So... yeah, and this is a good reminder because I feel like I was so good at it at one point and it made such a positive impact. But, you know, with having kids, now I have 2 kids and a baby and you're nursing and you have no sleep, I've completely like went back down to where I was. So it's like now that I, can breathe a little bit, I'm starting to do that. And I'm like, that's like what I needed. Like even the 5 minutes, it just makes such a world of difference. And your creativity is learning to breathe again. Like, I felt like I started to, like, hold on. Yeah. And then when I did a workshop with you, and I was like, that was such a big part of my life. Like, why have I stopped? And even just the 5 minutes, like, you just start to relax.
Yeah. So where do you do that? Do you do that before the boys wake up, or do you do that in the middle of the day or in your car?
So I think that you had mentioned like the 5 minutes when you're waking up, like try to wake up like a little bit before the kids and just sit, even if it's in your bed, just that. And then like sometimes I'll nap at the same time, which is like glorious. Yeah. And I will, try and do it then.
Because I think there's a misconception that with meditation it has to be on a mat. It has to be hours and you have to, and you have
which
to.
I did. I used to like.
Well, that's the thing. Like I know you, so I know what your practice was, but you weren't in action in your life like you are in action now. Yes. You never stop moving now. Yes. So before you were just in meditation and you were kind of like on your own self-discovery journey, right? Your transformational journey.
Yes.
But now you have all these wonderful things going on in your life. Yeah. It's almost like a balance. Like how do I balance my mindfulness and my really fun, exciting, stressful, overwhelming life at times? But I think it is a balance. We have to find out what works for us. And 5 minutes is really all I need. Yeah. Some days. Some days I take more. Some days I take 20 minutes.
It's like, it's anything like working out. Like once you start doing something and you realize how good you're feeling from it, you're going to commit even if it's, even if it's the minimum amount that you have, like 5 minutes to breathe and meditate and just kind of like center yourself.
Yeah. But it's not, we don't have to sit on a mat for hours. It really is just that time to center ourselves. And I think it plays into our meditation, our stress. It plays into just having a more well-balanced life. And I don't think we have to be balanced on all things, but to feel more balanced in ourselves is so helpful. What other practices do you do that kind of help with that mindfulness?
Mindfulness?
You journal? Oh, I know what I want to talk about. Okay. Your bullet journaling, where you draw in your journals.
So a big thing, which I really love this, is when I was meditating, I did a lot of visualizing. A lot of people do like the boards, like the vision boards. Yeah. So I had a book where I would, do the vision boards, but I would also like write down like the journaling, but also like visualizing what like goals and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you had like a book. So instead of just having a journal that you write words and a vision board that you post
kind
images,
of combined all together.
You combined it, yeah. And so they call that bullet journaling is what they call it on like Pinterest and Google. So it's beautiful.
Yes.
Like it's not just, it's your goals with artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. They're so pretty. You should share one of yours one time that you have.
My book?
Yeah. Will you
Okay.
share? Like send me an image
Sure.
and we'll share it. Yeah, because if you're creative and you feel like, oh, I just post pictures on a vision board and that's going to get me everything I want. It's really about taking the goals and making sure that they're, you're committing to your goals and like you're writing them down and you're giving them life, writing them down. Do you feel that way about your goals?
Yeah, so I think it's helpful to write them, and you can, do the posting of the pictures, or you can draw your own, you could doodle, and then taking that 5 minutes to visualize it and start breathing like energy into it, so there's two different types of meditation. I think there's meditation to get centered and just calm, from like anxiety, just anything, like calm yourself, and then there's also an active meditation to where you're visualizing and putting energy into to do those goals and stuff.
You're creating your own world. Yeah, you're using that. Oh, that's good. That's really a perfect way. And so when she would say you need to meditate, and I would say I have no time, and then ended up in the hospital because I was so stressed, that it really does save your life if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, and it doesn't take much time, and it's just a matter of 5 minutes every day breathing in. But I did guided meditations because I wasn't there yet where I could like center myself. My brain was like the squirrels were running circles. So I started doing guided meditations. You can find those on Hay House podcast. You can find them on YouTube. So if you're not familiar, there's tons. You can get apps. You can actually pay for apps that have meditations. So if that's not something that you're familiar with and you need a little help, just Google guided meditations and you're going to find a lot of those. Very good. So how can people find you?
So right now I'm on Instagram. You can go to at Hazel and Grace, all spelled out, illustrations.
Okay, and I'll put that in the show notes as well so that you can make sure that you go follow Jessi. Thank you so much for coming on. I have said to her, I'm like, we need to have, we didn't giggle the whole time, so I think we did good. We did really good. So thank you everyone for watching. If you would like more information about me, go to kimportertv.com. I'll put Jessi's information in there. We would love to hear from you in the comments, so drop us a comment below and let us know what you thought. Bye. Take care.